Hello guys, so this subject was requested so much, it's wedding dresses for the body types. I have body types playlist, I'm gonna leave the link down below. Also, I'm gonna leave the links on two videos, dresses for the body types and skirts for the body types. It's very useful to watch just in terms of the shape and the outline. Today we're mostly gonna talk about the overall vibe shape of the dress and dresses basically that you can't go wrong with. Of course, there are always some ways to express yourself very interestingly in your wedding day. Some women prefer different colors for the wedding day. Some women prefer suits for their wedding day, pants and top, for example, or just blazer and pants. Today we're gonna stick more to classic versions of just those bridal dresses. Before we start, another very good thing to consider is your hair. Your makeup probably will be done by a professional or you do it yourself. Bridal makeup is a very certain aesthetic of a makeup. It has its own laws, it has its own look. In terms of hair, that is a different situation. Sometimes hair doesn't match the dress. She has that slightly grown pixie cut. When she's wearing that dress with a lot of drapes, for example, a lot of horizontal lines, not vertical lines, or very girly, very bouffant dress, that sometimes just doesn't match to the hair so much, so she would probably better choose something that would fit her hair. Therefore, if that's pixie, so something on a drier side, on a sharper side, would be probably better. So that's just one of the considerations. And I also have hair for the body types video on my channel, so the link is down below. I made a huge list of the links of wedding dresses for you, so you would check for each type. I'm gonna leave it down below here and also in the comment section probably. Okay, let's start. So, wedding dress for dramatics. So dresses that you can't go wrong with is something narrow, sleek, with anything sharp in there. I would avoid something that would be too short with tons of ruffles and a lot of drapes. Something too puffy, too voluminous. Sometimes they can just be out of context on you because you will feel like you are much more dry comparing to this dress and much more angular. So for you, that sleekness and clean elongated lines would look amazing. Of course, we used to think about wedding dresses as something extremely girly with a lot of flowers and stuff, but you know there are some dresses that can have some vertical lines, for example white stripes on more sheer background. So all those triangles, zigzags and elongated lines are for you. Think about sharp shoulders, think about sharper neckline. Longer neckline would look great. Something clean and shape would be amazing. Think about asymmetry too. You can even go for one stripe here and going here underneath. That is another good thing. Asymmetrical shapes look always very chic on dramatics. So yeah, think about something sleek, elegant, long and sharp. Soft dramatic. Think about big drapes, long dress and some puffiness would be amazing. Sharper shoulders, fitted shoulders would be nice, but at the same time you would look amazing with some bouffant sleeves or big ornate pattern like white flowers, for example, on that sheer background. Don't go for something that is very sleek on your body. You can feel a little bit more like naked or too heavy or angular in that kind of shape. Choose something that is a little bit more on the looser side, and waist emphasis of course would be nice too for you. And all those big drapes that is basically hugging your body or accommodating all your curves. That would be great. Big drapes always a win-win for you. You can add a lot of ornateness there, lace or rhinestones. You can have big volume on your hair. You just play with those big and glamorous shapes. Now let's go to romantics. I actually found a dress for you exactly like Marilyn was wearing in a Gentlemen Prefer Blondes movie, remember? When she and Jane Russell, they had a wedding in the end of the movie, both at the same day. So Marilyn had this not very long dress actually, with a lot of lace and flowers here on top. I'm gonna leave the link on this dress down below. For romantics, it's very important to go gentle, accommodating their curves softly. Waist emphasis would look amazing. The dress can be on a shorter side actually, probably better below the knees though. You can also go for tulip shape or trumpet shape or mermaid shape skirt. It will be very elegant on you. Some ornateness, some pearls or rhinestones would be amazing. Different kinds of lace, very gentle fabric, and just in general, everything rounded on romantics would look amazing. And ruffles, as many as you want. So something stiff, elongated, sharp, without any waist emphasis, head to toe, very long. This is what I don't recommend for them. Theatrical romantics. They look amazing in dresses which are narrow and ornate. Small ornateness looks the best on them. Just don't choose big flowers, for example. Go for smaller flowers or smaller pattern if you have it. Go for different kinds of rhinestones, pearls. It should be narrow and elegant looking. Think about trumpet or mermaid skirt. Think about tulip skirt. Think about narrower dresses. It doesn't mean, of course, size down of your own size. The dress should not squeeze you too much still. It should just lie on your skin and repeat your curves. That would be best. Some sharpness at the shoulders if you want to go for shoulders. Here, that would be nice. Long dresses would also be nice. Maybe avoid something too stiff, elongated, and sharp. Or avoid big volumized draping. That also can be a little bit too much for you. You're probably much more trimmer than that. For classics, of course, symmetry looks amazing on classics. Everything that is symmetrical, meaning right side and left side are equal, like a mirror each other, that looks great on classics. What would not look great, probably something that is over the top. For example, huge voluptuous drapes, a lot of ruffles and kind of noisy patterns and everything is over the top, or something very straight, sleek without any waist emphasis and too sharp. So think about something very balanced, very classic in that classic sense. Soft classic. Very close to classic, also go for symmetry. There are some romantic additions that you can have in your dress. Some ruffles, some small draping here and there. It should be kind of balanced, not over the top. Not too straight and stiff and sharp, and not too voluptuous with huge draping. Still, mid-sized drapes look best on you. Dramatic classics. Again, symmetry is the key. Something on the sharper side also can look quite nice on them. Maybe sharper triangular collar here. Long sleeves, something fitted, not too bouffant with a lot of drapes. Again, something more sleek and more elongated, preferably. They can go with or without waist emphasis, just the way you want. Everything that is not over the top would fit very well. Something too girly with a lot of ruffles and drapes, and if at the same time the dress is short, that probably can create some strange vibe on dramatic classics. They still need something longer, elongated. It can be actually midi skirt. It preferably should not be very wide. It can be slightly more sleek and narrow. For naturals, think about Greek goddess dresses. Some asymmetry looks amazing on them. The dress should not sit absolutely sleek on your body. Just have a little bit of air, but at the same time it doesn't look good when it's very puffy and over the top puffy on you. Then as a contrast, your bone structure will look more angular and more square. So for you it's best when it's slightly loose but not wide. Still keep it closer to your body. Waist emphasis or without waist emphasis, it's up to you. It's better when the outline of the dress is not very plain, so it's better when there's some texture on the surface of the dress, for example, some lace, some stones, a little bit of draping here, a little bit of draping here. Some fringe would look amazing. Fringe comes to us from the 20s, right? And now they experiment a lot with different kinds of fringes, so you can go for that too. For some naturals who have a little bit wider part here, wider rib cage, they don't always like to wear that glamorous dress with small stripes here. So in this case, you can go with it for wider stripes. That will already shrink that top part, and your shoulders as a contrast will not look more angular. Or you can go for longer sleeve, or instead of sleeve, you can actually have something hanging in here, kind of like the wings instead of sleeves. That can look quite nice. If you go for a shorter dress, you can go for shorter dress too. Just make sure it's not very stiff and not little girlish, little princess kind of a vibe dress. Soft natural, go for drapes. Middle-sized drapes would look good. For some soft naturals who are quite voluptuous looking, bigger drapes also can look nice. Don't choose something very sleek, sharp, and straight without any waist emphasis. That will be too stiff on you. Preferably choose different textures on the fabric that your dress is made of. It can be different stones, sparkles, embroidery, or flowers. Your dress can have several layers. Also think about Greek goddess, yeah? Some drapes on one side or on another side. Some asymmetry would look amazing. Waist emphasis still would look better on you. Don't go for something too girly. Of course, it depends on many things, many individual things, what size you are, what age you are, and what your vibe overall, because within each type, women are so different. So normally when I give consultations to women, I look at her still, not the fact that she's one of the types, but I look at her still, and I choose it for her particularly. Also thinking about what haircut she has, what structure of her body she has, what height she has. Many soft naturals can be different height. It would still be better if the dress would be slightly loose, on a looser side. Also, you can have that blouse effect waist emphasis. That means like your waist emphasis here, and then the top part of your dress is kind of like folding like a blouse here. If you feel like your top part and your shoulders are quite big, choose stripes that are on a wider side. Choose sleeves. You can go for lantern sleeve too, maybe not too much, not too puffy, because it will exaggerate that place. Just think about sleeve that goes right away on your shoulder, just falling down like this. But again, if there are some drapes and a little bit of ruffles, that can look quite nice. Flamboyant naturals. Think about 70s dresses. They would look amazing. Lantern puffy sleeves, long skirt, long dress to the floor. If you want, you can go with or without waist emphasis on you. Both would look amazing. If you go for a very sleek dress, better if the texture of the dress is not very atlas and light reflected, not very, how to say, sleek, plain, glide. Think about more rough textures, so it would be a bit more matte. You can go for stones, for embroidery, for flowers, for appliques. You can go for all that. Bigger flowers though, that can look better on you than smaller patterns. Again, vertical line would look amazing on you. Long free feel dresses and slightly elongated neckline would also look great on you. You can also go for different draping, but draping should not be very puffy and voluptuous with tiny waist. Preferably, like for example for soft dramatics. Soft dramatics have a little bit different bone structure. They have sharper bones with some softness. Your bones are wider. So for you, that voluptuousness can create that heaviness in your body. So to make your body a little bit more lightweight, just make sure that the drapes that you are choosing, they are not actually hugging your curves, but they are mostly going down with asymmetry. Asymmetry looks great on flamboyant naturals too. So think about drapes that go diagonal or go straight down. Also, if you're flamboyant natural, let's say you already bought a dress and you have quite massive top here. Many dresses have very thin stripes here and pretty tiny on chest area. If you feel like your shoulders are quite massive, you can always get a cape. I found a couple of capes for you, but just make sure the cape is matching the color of your dress, because some capes, they make slightly off-white, some capes are white. You just buy a cape and then you just put them on your shoulders. This way your shoulders will look as they are, not bigger than they are, and you will not look top heavy. Also for flamboyant naturals, I would not recommend something with a lot of small ruffles and short dresses. That can make their bone structure look a little bit too heavy and too elongated. Let's go for gamines. Short, narrow, and straight is best for them. When I say short, I don't mean mini. And I know many women, they just don't like wear mini just because they don't feel classy in that. They like when it's knee length or longer. So from my viewpoint, knee length or longer or shorter if you wish. Of course, you can go for that. It's best. You can have waist emphasis, but in case the dress is quite narrow and it looks slightly more straight in figure. If you go for a lot of ruffles, that can look a little bit too strange on you because you still on a drier and on a straighter side. I would not go for different kinds of drapes, especially drapes that were created to hug the curves of a woman, because gamines normally don't have that much curves. So for them, something more straight and simple here would be much better. Also, different kinds of asymmetry would look amazing on you. Also, gamines can go for different kinds of stripy patterns. For example, lines of sparkly stones made as stripes on a sheer background that would look gorgeous and amazing on you. If you go for a flowery or embroidery pattern, just go for a smaller pattern on a scale. And especially if you're a gamine on a petite side, the best thing for you would be higher collar, higher neckline, because gamines normally they don't look as good when they have very deep and low neckline, because they're already kind of close to the ground. They look smallish and they look quite disproportionate. Sometimes the legs can be slightly on the shorter side. So for them, that elongated neckline, that already looks like they're wearing something of their mama's wardrobe. So for them, it's very good to think about higher neckline. It doesn't have to be like a turtleneck, of course. You can though, but even that can be already enough. Not something like that. That already is bringing them down to the ground. So any dress that would be considered a little bit too womanly, too voluptuous, big, with a lot of ruffles or drapes or bouffant shapes, that is not for gamines. Just go for narrower, sleek, and more sharp shapes. Let's go to soft gamines. Again, they can go for shorter length or longer length. Normally, soft gamines don't look quite quite good with head-to-toe dresses, dresses that are very, very long. You can go actually for a big bouffant skirt, like a princess skirt, or go for narrower skirt. The most important thing here, so here it would be fitted, the waist emphasis, and preferably they would have high collar or even collar around their neck, like a turtleneck, like a halter. Halter? It's called halter, right? That will balance their proportions so they would not look like these dresses bringing them down to the ground. So think about that. Even if they go for a narrower dress, it still would be so cute. It will balance the proportions of the bottom piece and on their top piece if they go for higher collar. They can go for puffing sleeves and they can go for longer sleeves too. Don't go for big drapes because they will look like little girls in their mama clothes, and doesn't matter how old they are, it's still gonna look like that because of the proportions of the body. Some asymmetry would look great, some ruffles would look great, but the best shape of the bottom of the dress, I would say mermaid or trumpet shape or tulip shape. Now last but not least, let's go to flamboyant gamines. They look good in shorter dresses too, in narrower silhouettes though. They don't look great with a lot of drapes, ruffles, and very wide dresses. If you go for a wide dress, make sure that your skirt is wide and here it's quite sleek. Or you can also be inspired by the 20s era and go for something with fringe, like a 20s dresses, straight dresses, blouse effects, waist emphasis would look good. For you, waist is not a necessary thing. You can go with or without. If you're going for a longer dress, let's say very long dress and very kind of classic dress, best thing for you would be still going for slightly higher collar here. That will balance your proportions, that will balance the bottom of your body and the top of your body, because normally flamboyant gamines, they are not very proportionate. They can have, for example, longer arms but shorter legs, so they still kind of look smallish but kind of not very small. They kind of look elongated within their own frame, slightly broadly angular here on top. So sometimes they feel very confused in which shape they should choose, because at times it might seem for them that nothing fits. They look too boyish in this shape, they look too girlish in this shape, and things like this. So for them, best thing that they can never go wrong with, it's slightly narrow dress, approximately of the outline of Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Think about this, and it's preferably should be quite stiff, keep its shape, preferably not many ruffles or drapes. You can have some geometric details, for example some stripes. When I say stripes for wedding dress, I mean white stripes on sheer background, for example, that kind of stripes. Narrow silhouette, asymmetry, 20s fringe would look great. Something more sculpted, something more on a stiffer shape would be better on them. Alright, that's it. I hope that was helpful for you. Subscribe to my channel, press the bell button so not to miss my new videos. Also, you can be my sponsor here or subscribe on my Patreon. Normally all my videos I upload earlier for you guys, and I also check your comments and stuff. Thank you so much and see you soon. Bye.